the entries and decide a winner. I think the Best of Show judging is going on for this competition now. Right, so that's the definition. How that's done varies depending on the type of competition it is. So we'll talk about 2 or 3 types of competitions that you get in the UK. And then some competitions have prizes, some just kudos, and some competitions will give you a lot of feedback and some won't. So we'll talk about which ones do and which ones don't. Okay. And then you've got the BJCP definition there, where beverages are formally evaluated against a predefined style guidelines for the purposes of constructive feedback and acknowledgement of excellence. So why should you do them? There's a few different types of people that do competitions. Some people want to win, right? So Fraser likes his rosettes. So you're going to do them for kudos, rosettes and medals. But the other reason is prizes. So the London and South East that we organise, we have about £2,500 worth of prizes that we give out. And you know, we've given out conicals, you can win a lot of beer, money, we've had grainfathers of prizes. So the prizes can be quite significant. I think the first prize here is a trip to the US. And here you see Josh, you talked just now. The ultimate prize for many people is to have their beer brewed at a commercial establishment. Josh has got his watermelon goza on at the bar today that he won with Thornbridge. And you get a lot of those competitions as well. But the other part of it is feedback. So competitions will give you feedback. The BJCP will give you quite extensive feedback on flavour, aroma, the overall assessment of your beer, but also they should always give you a couple of pointers as to how you can improve your beer, and you can use that to go back and do better. And some of my favourite examples of that, we did have someone who entered a lot of beers into one of our competitions. They all came back that they were slightly infected and had that infectious note to it. He went back, he did a deep clean of his equipment, and then he was 3rd in the Nationals the year after from that. So you can use that feedback to improve your beers. You do have to take it with a pinch of salt sometimes, but that's, you know, the other thing you can do. The other reason that people enter to get that feedback is if you don't know what an off flavour's like, you're going to be assessed by a trained judge, and they can identify that for you and say that's acetaldehyde. So you might know that your beer tastes bad, but you don't know why. You can do that. If you sit at home with that bottle and you get the feedback, you can sit there and go, yeah, I can taste that. You can start to teach yourself to be able to assess your beers and improve as well. So there are a few different types of competitions in the UK. So we talked a bit about the BJCP one. You get detailed feedback from the BJCP. You're probably getting 2 judges. They're going to spend 10 minutes looking at your beer and writing down notes of their assessment of that beer and how to improve. You get various levels of prizes. You've got the Nationals and the London and South East run at around 350 entries. And that's kind of just judge limited at the moment, just having enough judges to be able to do that. And then right the way through, you've got the Welsh Nationals. We run some mini competitions at Lab that we limit at 100 entries, just to make that simple for the judges. And the Homebrew Festival. There is, not so well known, but there is an older so the BJCP is the Beer Judge Certification Program from the US. There is a guild in the UK of judges, the National Guild of Wine and Beer Judges, and there is a long-established national association of wine and beer makers, and they hold competitions as well. You get a lot less feedback from them, and you get, I don't know about the prizes, but there's a big, they have a Nationals, I think they get around 500 entries in that, and the Wales and West are the 2 I know of. And the third type is the commercial competitions, where a brewery or a pub will run their own competition. So you might get some feedback from that, you might get none at all, and you have to adapt your style for those sort of competitions, because they're probably not going to be looking against a guideline. They want to get a beer that they can then sell. So you need to consider that when you enter the competitions. But as I said, Josh has had his beer brewed by Thornbridge. and be on the shelves in Waitrose on Monday. Siren do it, a couple of breweries, Brewbank and Wishbone do that as well. So they're the types of competitions you can enter in the UK, and Fraser will talk about how you can best position yourself to win them.
Yeah, I mean, to do well in the competition, I mean, firstly, you need to find a style to start with if you do well at. So, if your water is quite typically hard and you do good dark beers, don't try and think you're going to win if you're going to do a light hoppy beer. Unless you've nailed your water profiles down, you're going to struggle. So try and pick a style that you work well with and go for that. Once you get a bit more experience, sort your water profiles out, then I think you've got a chance of going into more light and hoppy stuff. Yeah, make great beer. You make great beer, you're going to do well. Yeah, follow the rules, like the guidelines. If you're entering a beer, American Porter, read the guidelines. It will stipulate what the judges are going to be looking for when they judge your beer. So if it's picking out a certain flavour and you can't detect it, or you've said there's a flavour in there that isn't there, you're going to get marked down on it. So give the judges what they're looking for. There's a list in there to tell you what they're after. If you do that, then you're going to do pretty well. Yeah, and as Lee was saying, if there's obvious faults in the beer, you're not going to do well, so you need to hone your technique, good sanitation. Yeah, another thing which I did, there's a local brewery near me, I harassed the brewer to the point that he almost took an injunction out against me. Go around there, give him your beer, get feedback from him, and that way you're going to learn from a professional brewer as well. So that is a really good way of doing it. Yeah, say brewing with other people as well. So if you've got a group of homebrewers around you who you're close with and they make better beer than you, go and brew with them. Find out what they're doing, learn from them. There may be some things that they do that you don't particularly agree with, but brew with lots of different people and pick ideas from them. See what they're doing that you're not doing. You may be doing something wrong that's not obvious to you. So the more people you can brew with, the more experience you're going to get, and the better chance you'll be making better beer. For me, I think the one thing I think is paramount is the water. I mean, you think it's 95% of the ingredient of the beer is the water. So get the mash pH right, get it balanced with the alkalinity and the acids, and if you do that, you get a softer beer, more full-bodied, and you're more likely to do well. It's when I nailed my water technique down about 4 or 5 years ago, my success in competitions just went through the roof. And now I'm consistently making decent beers across any style I want to do, really. They're all pretty good. From a lager to a porter, hoppy ales, pale ales, wheat beers. If you get the water right, you're going to nail it.
I'm just wondering, how do you approach nailing your water profile? Do you send samples off to someone like Murphy & Sons, or do you use like a spreadsheet from Brewing Water?
I use Brewing Water.
Yeah.
I'm lucky that I've now got an RO system, so I can start from scratch and clean the water and I can add minerals to it to get the profile I need. Brewing Water will do it for you. I mean, if you're using Brewing Water, it will calculate exactly what your mash pH will be. And I test it against it, and it's always within about 0.1 of what it's predicted. So if you follow Brewing Water to the letter, it will get your pH exactly where you need it to be. And that probably is the single biggest thing for me to get it right.
What are you usually shooting for as mash pH? Like 5.2 to 5.6?
Yeah, I mean, for a drier beer, a crisper style, anything from 5.1 to 5.3. For a darker, more malty beer, when you want more accentuate the smoothness, go a little bit higher, 5.4 to 5.5. But if it's a crisp style, you want to go on the low side and slightly higher if you want a bit of like a darker beer. Or like a New England IPA, getting slightly higher so it's more full-bodied. The lower it will accentuate the hops a bit more, it'll be a bit sharper, you want it smoother, the higher it goes, and if it's crisper, the lower it goes. Yeah, and obviously once you brew the beer, if you brew the beer and you're going to enter it in the competition, try it. It may not be exactly what you expected it to be. So you can even change the category it's going to go in. So if you brewed it as like a smoked porter and it hasn't come out too smoky, don't put it into a smoked category because you will get absolutely hammered. If you say it's smoked and there's no smoke in it, they will just take you to pieces. They're judging on what you tell them it should be. So re-enter it as a different category. And if you do a style which is you do really well, like an American Pale Ale, you can put it into two different categories. Add something to it, some spice. Like I do a tea beer, and I do the same base beer, and I add some tea to it, and you get two beers out of the same batch. You enter more than one. I did three beers from one batch recently. I did like a black American Pale Ale, I did the tea, and then the base beer. So I've got three brews out of one batch. So if you do one style really, really well, just see if you can alter it and get into another category, so you get more chance of success. Yeah. And also for the guy, if you're brewing like an IPA, personally I would say try and go up on the upper strength side of it, so it stands out. So if you're doing an American Pale Ale, try and get it up to as near to 6% as you can. Get it really, really hoppy. That way it will stand out amongst all the other beers on that flight. You've got 12 different American Pale Ales, and yours is pushing it nearer to an IPA, but not quite. You'll stand out. The others will just be always at one level, and if you're just raising it above, it's not quite cheating, but it's not quite an IPA, but you just want it to stand out from the others. Get it as hoppy as you can, as fresh as you can, and also once you're sending your beer into the competition, try to keep it as cold as you can, as long as you can, and get it to the competition at the last minute. Don't send it out there like a week, 2 weeks in advance. Like I know Lee has a fridge specifically for all these competition beers, so it all kept at 1 degree, you keep them all at. So, and then all the beers that he's going to be sending into the competitions. Yeah, that's what Lee was saying. If you're entering a competition like the Thornbridge competition, you've got to think, well, they're going to sell it commercially. They're not really going to be brewing a barley wine for you and selling it at £2.50 a bottle. So you need to try and think, what is their market that they haven't got in their range at the moment? It's got to be with a certain price point. So brew a beer that they can sell, but it stands out from the crowd a bit. Yeah, I think I said quite a bit already. Brew to your strengths, yeah. Spray and pray, that was my old technique really. Entering 15 beers into one competition. Throw as much against the wall as you can and hopefully some of it will stick. The competitions now, they've restricted number of entries, which I'm not overly pleased about, but it stops me winning as much as I used to. Yeah, do a brew schedule. So if you know the competition's coming up next April and you've got entering 4 beers, plan what beers you're going to brew at what point. Get your dark beers, your malty beers done nice and early so they've got time to mature, and leave your hoppy pale ales and IPAs to the last minute. I mean, this competition here, the beer I entered, one of them, it was in the fermenter on the Saturday and it was just in bottle, carbonated on the Monday. So I got it from the FB into keg, carbonated, bottled it, and delivered Monday night. So it could not have been any fresher if I could possibly try. So yeah, get your hoppy ones on lastminute.com, but styles that need to mature and benefit from age, get them done really, really early. Yeah, I'll spend about the spread bet in 1 brew 6 entries. Yeah. Yeah, using honey and maple syrup. I mean, honey is great. If you want to do an English style ale, bottle condition it with some honey, and it gives a lovely little honey finish to it. When you put honey in the bowl, a lot of the aromatics will just boil off. If you prime with it, it comes through really, really nicely. It takes longer to carbonate, like twice as long as sugar will, but you'll get a lovely beer out of it. Yeah, the degassing bit, you had a story about that, didn't you? You had someone who did that, and
he entered an IPA,
yeah.
And then he just uncapped it, let it degas for a bit, and it won as a best bitter. So just changing that one style, taking a bit of carbonation out, he did better as a bitter than in the IPA. That was in the US. They obviously don't know their bitters.
Yeah, because there are styles which have got a lot of crossover, and so you can enter one beer in 2 or 3 categories and just see how they pan out. I mean, I've done that before now. I had a double IPA which I brewed, and it was beautiful. It won a competition for Siren. The Nationals came round. It was losing its aroma. It faded quite a bit. I brewed it again, and I entered both. The fresh one I entered as a double IPA. The one that lost a lot of its aroma, but it was still a beautiful beer, I entered as American Strong. And they were both, one was American Strong, one was a double IPA. The American Strong version won gold, and the double IPA version came second. So the old version got a higher mark than the fresh one. So even though the beer may have lost some of its hot top notes, you can find a category that you can enter in. Like I say, American Strong is pretty much like a double IPA, just not as pronounced on the aroma. So if it's aged a little bit, and as long as it's not faulty, stick it in as American Strong. Yeah, I'm not sure if there are like guessing what's going to win, but historically, certain beers, certain categories do really well in competitions. Like the UK Nationals, I think it's only lagers and sours, I think for the last 5 years, have won every time. I mean, I know they're both not easy beers to make, but I think it's a lot of what's trendy. Sour beers are quite trendy at the moment. A lot of people like them. I know a lot of the judges like sour beers. So if you make a really good sour beer and they like sour beers, you may have a better chance of doing really well. I don't make sour beers, so. Yeah, I mean, guessing what grouping is going to be is a tricky one, isn't it, really? But generally, like, yeah, lagers, if you can get your water right, lagers is always a good one to go for. So you need soft water. So if you've got access to, even like mineral water from Tesco Ashbeck's got one of the lowest mineral profiles you'll find. So if you use that water, you can make a really good lager or Kolsch. I've done the Kolsch with Ashbeck before now, which has won some awards. Yeah, making sure you're getting your, like I say, getting the right beer in the right category, because if you get in the wrong category and you say it's one thing and it's not, you're just gonna get hammered by the judges. Give the judges what they're looking for. And it leaves mortal words, boom, really. Yeah, good luck.